the profession itself can debate about these points, and also we can talk about these issues with policymakers. First, an overview of the 21 countries of the 23 partners in the project. I need to step aside. Yes. Okay. Yes. Good. So, and we see that you will see that we cover quite a bit of Europe. Unfortunately, we do miss a few countries, but all in all, I would say that we have good coverage of Europe. A variety of institutions working together in this project gives us a wealth of perspective. So it's different kinds, it's universities, but it's also professional associations, and so it's a good variety of institutions working. So now I will present to you results of the following topics. We had 12 core areas of information which form the basis of our questionnaires in those 21 countries. And I will present to you the European overview of the total archaeological workforce and how that is divided in age and gender, in age bands of 2 years. Also about the disability status of people working in archaeology, country of origin, if there are many full-time or part-time jobs, what the average salary is, and the qualifications achieved when you work in archaeology. So, workforce size. This was quite of an issue at the start of the project because every country for itself could define how the count would be, only counting people who have a degree in archaeology, or take it more broadly and count all jobs in the sector archaeology, so also counting support staff. So there is a bit of a variety as a result of the definition of which jobs to count and which jobs not to count. So we need to take that in, have that in mind. So what we see from this overview is that the highest number of archaeologists, people working in archaeology, are to be found in the UK, Italy, and Germany. They have over 4,300 jobs, and the lowest numbers are to be found in Latvia, Bosnia, and Cyprus. However, these are relative not only by the way of counting, also there are differences, of course, in the system that's applied in every country. If there is commercial archaeology or not, so these things might be to be taken care of. So if you look at the data from all these 21 countries, you'll see these enormous peaks with the UK, Germany, and Italy. And then there is an average so around 1,000, in many countries, of about 1,000 people working in archaeology. So the grand total of people working in archaeology in those 21 countries is nearly 25,000. Now we come to gender balance. If you look at the grand total, we see that the balance is, in fact, imbalanced. So we have slightly more women working in archaeology than men. I'm not sure if it is a statistically relevant difference. But if you look at the differences between countries, there is huge difference. For instance, in Greece, Italy, Portugal, and Cyprus, it's a vast majority of women. And as but this may vary by country. Many of those work for government. So there is a subdivision of field work in many cases is being conducted by men, and desk-based studies and governmental functions by women. But these, of course, need some more detail in the presentation of our results. In Romania, Poland, and Flanders, we see the highest percentage of male archaeologists. So here we have the gender balance, and we see great differences between countries. And I would say that Italy is a country, it's a specific case study. We should take care of that. So partners from this project will also contribute to articles on these topics that we have decided by ourselves, and the gender balance will be one of these topics. And Italy is fortunately a partner in writing this article, so Italy will be certainly in the picture. So the general trend in age band, well, you can see for yourself that we have all in all 21 countries in enormous peak in age band 30 to 40. And what do you think will happen if these people will age? Will there be as many jobs further on the line, or are we going to get in trouble here? In future, we'll have more women in the profession. See? These are the younger generations. And so the balance will tip over, I think, to women. I have divided between women and men, but you see comparable figure. Because we have a peak here, and here it is, I think, Spain with men in that age band, and here we have, of course, Italy again with women. Disability status. And this is something that surprised us on one part, and on the other hand, not at all. Because we didn't know it was this bad, actually. 99% of the workforce is able. Okay? So, and the Netherlands has the highest number of disabled people in the workforce, and those are basically working with government, not in commercial archaeology. And the lowest are Slovenia and Latvia, where we have no disabled people working in archaeology. So here you see the graph. Country of origin is gets a similar picture. There's hardly any mobility between the countries. So 94% of the workforce is of national origin. Bosnia, Austria, and Cyprus have the highest number of people from other countries, and Latvia has 100% of Latvian workers. And again, I think this is certainly within European scope. This is something that is of interest, of course. So here you can see it's a similar graph where you have two parts. This is national, this is abroad, with some EU, non and other unknown, so it's hardly. Okay, we go to full-time and part-time contracts. Most people working in archaeology work in full-time contracts. And of course, Cyprus, Portugal have the highest number with 99% full-time jobs. Poland, Bosnia, and Latvia are high as well. And then with a lot of mobility, I guess, which is part of the national politics, I know, in the Netherlands. So we have 51% Ireland, 43% Germany, 42% part-time jobs. So here we have graphs. So now we get to earnings. And this is yearly earnings before taxes. So this is your gross income. The average is about the same number as workers in archaeology, I guess. Highest income in absolute terms is to be had in Scandinavia, Norway, and Denmark. Lowest income in Latvia, Bosnia, and Romania. But as I said, it's in absolute terms. That's why it says "but" with an exclamation mark. This is the graph. You'll see that the interval it goes to 70,000 euro. So we don't have grabbers among us, I would think. Not like the financial sector, for instance. Okay. We also looked at the ratio of the salary versus national average, because that will say more than the absolute numbers. And then the winners are Cyprus and Bosnia, where you have full-time employment, and here you see 100% on this graph is equals national average, and you'll see here that Cyprus wins with 130 or something percent, and Bosnia with it as well. But also, I thought, well, we need to check on that. So raise some doubt here as to whether that's the best place for you to work if you would like to move through Europe. What I did, I related the factor of the income. So here we have Cyprus and Bosnia to the number of archaeologists working in that country. And you'll see that the highest number are in the area with the small community of workers. So I think that also this that of a small group average, although it's the difference. So you have a sort of evening out. Well, what about qualifications? So we know that the salary equals this is school, undergrad, master's, PhD, postdoc, and what you'll see is that of course we are very the group, and so the conclusion that although we are very highly educated, and so if we would like to go towards from the information that we have, what would that be? What I did not available yet practices, but we know from what we have seen is that the effect of our a rise of self-employed people, of company size, And all these effects on these quality standards can be met. So if you have less money as a self-employed person, would you spend it on a course to better yourself? You have only left that can really compete and really fulfill all quality standards. Is there room for the commercial output? The diversity, because of the lack of mobility, we have hardly any diversity between countries. And of course, if you look closer at the gender balance, um, gender imbalance, I think presented is very interesting. That's all the young women that are now in difficult because of the economic crisis. Difficulties in starting a family, I think, is vital to put on the agenda. Then age cohorts and mobility. What if this enormous cohort of 30 to 40 ages? What will we do then? So this, I think we're going to have career difficulties. And then, of course, the geographic mobility itself. Um, are we staying in our own countries, or are we going to merge over Europe? And I think the European mobility within Europe is one of the themes in Europe. Has also to do with the bachelor and master system that has been adopted in order to promote mobility, but it isn't working very much for us, I would say. So this concludes my presentation, and I think it's very exciting, and I look forward to go much deeper into the graphs and details, but this is it for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Helene. As you can see already, some fascinating results. I'm sure we're prompting lots of discussion, and there is a data set there which will be made public through the national reports and the transnational report very shortly, which could be mined, explored, analysed further over the coming years. The transnational report will be made public by the end of the month. That's it. And I would direct you all in that respect to the project website. Right, thank you. I think we've got just time for a quick question, if you'd like to take one. Anybody? Andrew?
So this is just a very short comment about what's been done to do now. The other question is asked is much money to cover, and a lot of people just get me Islam for us. So those people who might be involved in the business or not to do that, might not be involved in the problem pieces of the problem. Okay. So that statistic of 46% what was the isn't like maybe we can talk about it later.
Okay. Something that we'll have to put in the text below the graph, I would think. There needs to be some explanation.
It's impossible to determine that they're following the
Yeah.
One more, if anybody has any points. Well, if not, Andrew, that was a nice segue there. Thank you very much. Can I invite you to join us at the front? And Andrew will be presenting on the national results of Bosnia-Herzegovina. It's a pointer as well. It's not. It's not working with the.
No. Yeah, normally you press
That we put in the drawing.
Okay, sorry, I'm Andrew Lawler, and I've been working on the Discovering the Archaeologists of Europe project in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And this is Halid Latham from the University of Sarajevo, an undergraduate student who's presenting part of the presentation with me. The Disco project for Bosnia and Herzegovina employed two separate questionnaires questioning institutions and individuals, which gave slightly different results to each other. We identified 31 institutions that do or could potentially employ archaeologists, and 13 of them returned responses. And 48 individuals working in archaeology, of whom 29 responded. Of those 29, 25 are based in Bosnia and Herzegovina, 4 are employed abroad, but undertake more than 1 month of work within the country per year. They were excluded from results where it skewed them too heavily. Looking at numbers over time, in 1981 there were 28 archaeologists in the country, the majority of whom were male. 89, there were 36, again the majority were male. In 1996, directly after the war, there were 4 males and 5 females believed to be left in the country working in archaeology. And then in 2005, no gender figures could be obtained, but approximately 15 in total were working. Then archaeology courses began to be initiated within the country, which has led to a growth of archaeological employment. Officially in 2009, 23 archaeologists were employed, but it was more likely to be higher because some people seem to be excluded from that official figure. We identified 48 archaeologists who work in the country, of whom 26 are male, 22 female, so approximately a 55-45% split, same as in 2009. However, when you look at different roles, there seems to be far more males within academia than females, but more females within civil service than males. The proportion of the workforce who work within field archaeology is 0.0059%, compared to a European average 4 to 6 years ago of 0.02%. So it's a much, much smaller proportion of the workforce. When you look at the age, you can see that younger people are entering archaeology, and this is partly due to the recent degree programs initiated. Yeah, so again, it's 55-45 split. With disability, no archaeologists who responded to the questionnaire claim to have a physical disability, although one institution claimed that they employed at least one person with disabilities. The archaeological workforce is very highly educated. Of these people, one of those with only high school is about to get a university degree, and 4 of those with master's level have either since the study obtained their doctorate or are very, very close to obtaining their doctorate. So this is, upward mobility still in the education. And at least 83% are proficient in at least one second language. The majority in English, but there's also German quite heavily represented, and French. And 93% of archaeologists have a university diploma, compared to 18.7% of the Bosnia and Herzegovina workforce. When we look at the wages, there is a big difference. The lowest was 651 Bosnian mark, 2 Bosnian marks are €1 almost exactly. So you're talking €325 being the lowest recorded monthly wage, and that would be about 950 euros being the highest. The mean wage and median wage are both around 500 euros a month. Archaeologists on average earn 124% of the mean national salary, and previous results showed 128% 4 years ago. So that seems to be stable. On top of the salary, however, there are huge additional benefits, and these vary between 25 euros a month and up to 250 euros a month, which is a massive additional amount of additional benefits on top of the salary. If you extrapolate it across the community, it's an extra 18.2% of the salary, which, if you work it out, means in the end people are earning approximately 140 to 150% of their national salary. Within archaeology, employees are less satisfied than when they were serving in 2009 to 10. Institutions are split, although 7 are satisfied, 4 are unsatisfied with the state of archaeology. The main reasons that people seem to be satisfied is due to increased that institutions seem to be satisfied is due to increased collaboration with institutions from abroad. However, people are unhappy with the level of financing, and also one institution didn't appreciate the quality of students coming out of the local degree programs. Within society, archaeology has problems. After the 92-95 war, archaeology has been considered secondary to other heritage sciences, and its development has floundered. Part of this is because post-war restoration is favoured, because it allows the preservation and development of traditional crafts, and also allows donors to put a plaque on a reconstructed building, which is far less easy to do on an archaeological site. So reconstruction of sites gives greater building visibility. There are also low general public levels of interest in prehistory. This is also another massive problem to Bosnia and Herzegovina archaeology. The rhetoric spread by Semir Osmanigic and his group leads people to mistrust academic orthodoxy, which is a great danger in a country with simmering nationalism. The sensationalist approach that he employed has detracted from bona fide archaeological work. People expect immediate results, flashiness, someone in a nice hat, and yeah, it's really it's given totally the wrong impression of archaeology to the public. Also, the site itself has attracted treasure seekers and night hawks to the local vicinity, who then believe they can become the next Semir Osmanigic. And the way that the archaeology was undertaken has closed potential sponsor and donor avenues, because money has been given in the past to this flashy grand project and no results have been obtained. It's caused irreparable damage also to the cultural heritage tourism industry, because people who go to visit the site feel cheated and don't return to the country, which is a massive problem when the country's got such a fragile industry. Now, that's all to Halina.
Thank you. So, other problems. The first major problem is closing of National Museum that is located in Sarajevo. So it happened in October 2012. Just the major institute for employing archaeologists and major institute to deal with archaeology in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So the second thing is interpretation and excavation of some sites in Bosnia and Herzegovina is doing by political sites. So in some part of Bosnia and Herzegovina, they're doing some excavation, but when they find something out, it's not by outside of politician approved. They just stop excavating there. The second thing, third thing is lack of opportunities for local archaeologists and students of archaeology to be a part of foreign institutions that are doing excavation in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and that are sites heavily looted by international peacekeeping forces in the last war, 1992 to 1994. So this is the Bosnia and Herzegovina after the war. It's due to peace, Dayton peace agreement. So Bosnia and Herzegovina is a country that is divided into entities and one district. So this is here in blue one is Croatian, and the pink one is Republika Srpska, and the green one is Kosovo district. After that, Republika Srpska have 63 municipalities. They're here. And Federation have 10 cantons, and these 10 cantons have also municipalities underneath them. So you can imagine there's a lot of administration on every level that are funding major. So they don't have money for the other stuff like technology or preserving cultural heritage. So developing the profession or how many majority of employees given permit contracts, that's the first, could create possible cycle factors of employment. And for this, there's room for commercial archaeology companies. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, we don't have commercial archaeology, so that type of organization. Third is training opportunities linked with outside formal education. There's no non-government organization or government organization that gives some kind of course for training traditional